Welcome back, fishing friends, to another episode of BurlyFishing. Today we're doing a weird unboxing. I picked this up at a thrift store. You're not going to believe what's inside. Or maybe you will. I don't know. I expected it just to be empty when I cracked it open, and then once I saw what was in it, I was like, oh, this is kind of a steal. I'm going to buy this thing and we'll unbox it. So we're going to get to that in a second. Hey, if this is your first time stopping by the channel and you guys like the content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see when I post more videos. I appreciate you very much. Let's get to the content. So, we found a box at a thrift store. It's in my town. We were in there looking for some other stuff. We ended up buying a giant Barbie home for my daughter, and that was fun. But I was just kind of like browsing around. I think I was looking for like a baseball glove maybe. And there was random fishing stuff there. Let's check this out. There's like a little 5-pack of MEPs for $5. Yeah, why not? I think they were number ones. It's a good smallmouth lure that I can throw, and I know I can smash, especially in the skinny water in our rivers nearby. And then I saw this behemoth, and I was like, that's a pretty big Plano. I have one similar. Figured, why not crack this baby open? So I did, and it's actually packed full of baits. I was like, what? Okay, so this thing is just full of lures. The whole thing is full. There's a lot of options. I'm not saying they're by any means like expensive, top-notch lures. There's probably one or two in here that are like a classic lure that I was pretty excited about. And there's some weird ones. So I'm gonna walk you guys through. We're just gonna go bait by bait, show you guys what we're looking at. This is like I said, kind of a different weird unboxing. It's just something fun. I was there with my family, found this thing, was like, score, we're gonna buy this. And I mean, I think I basically got most of this stuff for free. So let's dive in. What we've got, top row here, it looks like whoever this was for, their top first and second row of this gigantic, that's my light, of this gigantic 3-tier tackle box is just full of little cranks, little poppers, little stick baits, little very light small jerk baits, some river trolling baits. Got some ones I've never seen before, so let me know what you guys think as you see this. I'm gonna start with the one that stood out to me right off the bat, and that is this. This is a jitter mouse. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before. I'm sure you've seen the jitter bug, that classic top water kind of walking bait. So this cup portion right there is gonna cause this bait to wiggle across the top of the water. But I just thought it was cool, unique, not something I've seen at the store. I mean, I'm sure it exists, but you know, it's that mouse pattern. So we got this gray, even got little ears on it, little eyes there, and then this like rotting plastic tail that's still barely attached. But I mean, trebles are intact. They look good. They got newer split rings. Looks like somebody fished this a few times. I'm gonna fish it, of course. And like the little eye placement is very interesting, how it comes out like that. So I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna fish it top water as soon as I can, and hopefully we get a fish on the little jitter mouse. That was pretty cool. We've got some good classics in here. We got this watermelon rooster tail. Rooster tails are nice. Again, smallmouth waters. This is a lure I would throw for sure. It's got a nice color pattern there, and the gold little spinning blade, right? Rooster tails are nice. Like I said, I've got a few of them. Really like them. Good option as opposed to a MEPS or a Panther Martin. Speaking of Panther Martins, this was one of the cool things I found. This is like a really just classic style. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it. A classic old beat up Panther Martin. I don't know what it is. I just like really old lures. I've got a few from like my grandfather, great grandfather that I've got hanging on my wall. Those are things that are really cool to me. But yeah, this one is like, it's even got like an older version of the logo. So I'm imagining this is an older lure. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I just thought it was cool. I don't think I'm gonna try and catch fish with it. I think it's gonna go right up on the wall, and it's just tiny, right? Pretty cool though. And then we get into, he had a bunch of like Rapalas and Rebels in here. I say he, it could have been she. Let's be fair. So we had I think this is the only real cranking bait. So we had a Rebel crankbait, right? So this is probably gonna dive It's weighted, it's got a rattle to it. We're probably diving 3 to 6 feet, maybe. It doesn't look, well, it does have like this angle to it. It might dive a little bit deeper than that. You know, classic yellow and orange, little bright eyes there. I'm sure it'll do work. Definitely gonna fish with it. A little kind of a crawl pattern to it. So that's good. We got I'm gonna grab like some of the similar ones. These are the Rapalas. They're gonna fish more like a jerkbait. So we got that short lip. It's gonna dive just real short amounts. We're gonna fish it in erratic, jerky action. So we got some in green, silver. I liked this one. This was like a bleeding bait fish style with that red lip. That's cool. I like that one a lot. Definitely gonna fish with that. We've got this older looking wrap, which is silver, a little pink on the lip, sort of a reflective lip to it. It's got junk on it. I think that's weeds. That's been fished. That's been fished for sure. So that was kind of cool. We've got this really old looking multi-joint with just jankety jank hooks. That one's broken. This one's, you see that? This one's like just bent, warped out of shape. But you know, you've got like the metal lip, kind of classic style. We got this little wire holder for the line tie. Yeah, just all around interesting. I don't know. I might throw on some split rings. We're gonna have to clip these off. This is the old style where it's just like attached to the lure. You just get a new lure. So we're gonna cut these off, throw on some split rings, some like really small trebles. Give it a shot, why not? We've also got this split jointed Rebel right here. This one looks a little bit newer, nice and shiny. It doesn't look like it's ever been fished. We've got the Rebel Hornet. This is one I don't have. I do have a bunch of the small Rebel cranks, but I don't have the little bee. So we're gonna try this guy out. The Bumblebug. It's called the Rebel Bumblebug. So we're gonna try that one out too. Again, hooks look good. Hooks were good on most of these. So I'm like, dude, I just get all of these like jerk baits, stick baits. There's a popper in here. Bam, right? You mean I get all these for basically free? Yeah, I'm down with that. This is a Rebel 2. I don't know what they call this one, but it's just that you know, cupped mouth standard popping style bait with the little feathering off the back. So we got the dangles that are gonna entice some bass. We got 2 of the exact same jerk baits right here. These are those floating Rapalas. No rattle, no sound. Any of this sound? These are those floating Rapala jerk style baits. We got a little Cleo. Okay, so a little spoon in action, right? With a decent treble. This one's also been fished. It's got some gunk on it. It's got some damage to her. Interesting design with that blue little polka dot. This one I'd never seen before. Let me see if I can get it. Hold, please. So this one's interesting. This is what I would assume is more of like a trolling bait or maybe a river style bait. It's got, this isn't even, is that broken? That is broken. It's got a broken treble on the back, but it has these 2 trebles in the middle. So that was pretty cool, pretty interesting to see. And I was like, yeah, I like unique baits. I've never seen that before. Awesome. We've got some cheapy cheapos, the standard rigged worm. Never out of the box. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. It's not a collector's item. I'll open it for you, don't worry. So these are pre-lined with a leader. It's a through worm style, fairly weedless. You can actually take these little, these worm wieners right here. You just stick it right over that hook, and you're gonna make it more of a true weedless option. But as you can see, it's like a double hook Texas rig. It's got a little bit of a weight to it, not too much. So you would throw this weightless. It weighs enough, it'll get down there, and just kind of drag that through grass cover, wherever, anywhere you would throw a Texas rig, really, right? So I've got that color, and then this other color is like, I don't know what you would call this spicy red looking color. Cool. I've never fished with these. They do work. I mean, they have, you know, whole end caps dedicated to these at like Cabela's, Bass Pros, Walmart, whatever. You're gonna find these things, and they're like $1. So I mean, if you want to just catch some fish on like a standard plastic worm rig, that'll do it for sure. We got some really cheap bobbers. We do have some like decent fill bobbers. These are cool, right? A little lighter style. These are the plastic ones. We got some nail clippers, hopefully not used to recently clip disgusting nails, but probably line clippers. Got some snaps and swivels, some split shot, one of those. We got, I think that's it for the shelves. We're down to this rad looking guy. I've actually got one of these, but these are the multi-section screw off sections here that you can fill up. This one is full of like some good size. That one's even bigger. Some big old swivels. So we can use those if we want. A lot of this is like not how I fish, but I just thought a lot of it was interesting, and for how much they were charging for it, I was like, yeah. We got more swivel snaps, and more, and more, and some more, and another one. We got a interesting bobber. It's got a short top. Tell me what this is for. Again, not my style of fishing. That's all. We got a foam bobber. It looks like somebody chewed on it. That's good. We've got a stringer. Okay, sure. We've got an odd style box that's got, yeah, a bunch more split shot. Some more snaps. If I didn't have enough now, I have too many. You know, a couple of different styles of sinkers. Actually, some worm weights in here. Cool. Probably for his worms that he had, his or hers. And we got some hooks in here, like longer shank hooks. Actually, maybe wacky wig. So that's cool. More snaps that I missed. The top to this thing. So we're together. We're complete. We are a system. These Plano boxes come with these little options if you wanted to throw small spinners in here, and they just fit up in that top row. So those are in here. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. Got a couple more things in here. We got the Invisaleader, an ultra thin steel leader. I actually needed a couple more steel leaders, so if I trust this enough, it's a 5-inch, 27-pound steel leader. Could use that. We're actually almost to the bottom of this. Look at that. Got a whole ton of snell hooks. Boom, boom, boom. Pre-rigged, leader ready, snelled hook. We got some bait keeper style, some longer shank hooks, all sorts of gosh dang different ones. Mustad even on here. Cool. Lots of eagle claw, mostly eagle claw stuff, right? So that brings us to the last thing that was in here, which I actually thought was really interesting. I have no idea how this works, but I'm going to try it. And that is this. It comes with a couple different like fire tiger perch looking style plastics with the curly tail. And just this one, this reminds me of like a shutter style bait maybe. It's called the Blade Dancer. So it's got like this bent spoon, which like I said, might be a shutter style, so it's just gonna move like erratically underwater. It's obviously got enough weight on the bottom. It's probably gonna sit, hook up. We'll have our little curly tail, bright neon curly tail. I bet you we catch a fish on this. I'm actually pretty excited. The only thing I'm worried about is these hooks being older might need to be replaced. I can't replace this hook because it's attached, right? So the trebles are fine. We can replace some of the trebles, go fish those. That'll be fun. And this one, yeah, just heckin' interesting kind of looking bait. I really want to try that out. So again, this really interesting. So cool. And then it's got extra plastic, so why not? And it comes in this little sandwich bag. You never know what you're gonna find at a thrift store, am I right? So I would call this a win. You know, lots of cheap stuff in here, but add it all up, and you got some decent, like, you know, Rapalas and the Rebels and things like that. These aren't cheap, so I'd say the value is definitely there. If you guys are looking for some interesting finds, don't hesitate to go to your local thrift store or Goodwill. So I don't know if every thrift store has like a sporting section, but ours does, and they'll have like really old looking, terrible sporting equipment, and usually they don't have fishing gear, but this time they did. So you never know what you're gonna find. Go check it out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the find as much as I did. It's got me a little more interested in trying to find like some of those classic baits, or just basically dumpster diving or thrift store checking. Every time I see a thrift store now, I'm gonna look for some fishing stuff and see if we can find some other cool things out there. But hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, smash that like, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you can see when we post more videos. And you guys can follow me on social media at BurlyFishing on Instagram. Facebook.com/BurlyFishing is our Facebook page. And we've got a podcast that has already dropped. You guys can check out the BurlyFishing podcast, me and my buddy Paul Glass, talking about a lot of fishing topics, some controversial, some just for fun. No matter what, you're going to find something to enjoy out of that. And I will see you guys on the water.